not just reading them, but reflecting on them, allows us to create this intimate bond, not just with our Habib Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but through that intimate bond to create a feeling that mimics the feeling that he had, the concern he had, the hope he had, the fear that he harbored for this ummah. You see, we are living in a time where the number of Muslims is only growing. Statistics and reports only state that Islam is growing everywhere. And Islam will be a large religion. It's the second largest religion in the world. It's growing fast in America and beyond. When we hear these numbers, we feel ease. That ummah is going to be fine, Islam is going to be fine. But then when we read and reflect on the words of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in which he states that you will be like the froth on the ocean. When the Sahaba asked Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he talked about the world coming together and eating on this ummah, they asked, are we going to be small in number? He said, no, you'll be large. But you will be like the froth on the ocean. Meaning your presence is basically unnoticed. Your impact is nothing. It's the ocean waves that carry the froth on the top. The froth on the top is at the mercy of wherever the waves go. It in itself can do nothing. The next two hadith that we want to read, insha'Allah, in reference to our subject matter, the 40 ahadith pertaining to Al-Aqsa and Quds, and we're winding down to the end, inshallah. The first hadith and the second hadith, inshallah, grant us a lot of context which we should, inshallah, take to heart and reflect upon. Because we live in a world that talks about strength in numbers. Do we find strength in the numbers of the ummah today? Do we find strength even in the communities we reside in? Can we even find unity anymore? Every second person has an opinion about the first person. Umair ibn Hani radiallahu anhu reports, he mentions that he heard Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan radiallahu anhu saying on this pulpit that he heard the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam saying, a group from my ummah will remain upon the truth. A group from my ummah will remain on the truth. Again, let this sink in. A group from my ummah will remain on the truth. Those who desert them or oppose them will not be able to harm them. They will prevail over others until the decree of Allah, i.e. Qiyamah, comes. Mu'adh ibn Jabal radiallahu anhu said, they are the people of Sham. This hadith has been recorded by Imam Ahmad. Understand this. Every person today states, we are on haqq. Forget the battle with the rest of the world, my fellow brothers and sisters. Our fights amongst us will never end. No, my group, my this, my that, we are haqq. Where has the ummah gone today? Do you know what the sign of being on haqq is? Take away your titles, take away your affiliations, take away everything. You know what sign of haqq is? That Allah is with you. If Allah is with you, you're on the haqq. It started from Sunni and Shia. And how many other firqas came after that? And how many other school of thoughts came after that? And how many other sects and everything, groups came after that? The ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was a comprehensive ummah. The Sahaba were one body. They didn't differentiate. If this person did a certain practice, they didn't give it a title. We were one body. It didn't last too long. It only seems to get worse. So the question isn't tonight, is my people and our group on top or not? The question is, wherever I am, is Allah with me or not? Because this group, according to the words of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, will be small, and it seems that people from within will challenge them. The Muslims will challenge them. And what did Rasulullah ﷺ say? Those who desert them or oppose them will not be able to harm them. If I am on the haqq, means Allah is with me. It means that Rasulullah ﷺ, his life, his effort, his concern, his worries, I have shrouded myself in that. You will feel the presence of Allah in your day-to-day life. You will feel the nusra of Allah with you on every step of your life. Until then, let us begin the change by seizing these categorizations of our religion. Because when we get so intoxicated by the sheer size of this ummah, we're forgetting that Rasulullah ﷺ said, you will be the froth on the ocean. Your substance will be nothing. Number 2, the final hadith, inshallah, I want to read to you today, inshallah, is Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu relates that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, I'm actually going to pass that, it's kind of similar. Abdullah ibn Amr radiallahu anhu reports that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, there will be migration upon migration. The best of the inhabitants of the earth will reside where the Prophet Ibrahim a.s. migrated to, which was around Bayt al-Maqdis. This hadith is recorded by Imam Mustadrak, in al-Mustadrak. I want to just explain this point here. Where is mass migration happening? There's no mass migration happening. There are pockets of migration. The people of Yemen, the people of Syria, the people of Iraq, the people of Burma. There's these type of migrations happening. But the Prophet ﷺ's hadith, these words, is telling us of something that's going to come. Because when we read all the hadith that we have under this subject matter every Monday and Thursday, we learn that people are going to be moving, and the Prophet ﷺ said the best people are the people of Sham, and go join the people of Sham. Why should I go join the people of Sham? I'm living comfortably here in America. My job is good, my finance is good, my house is paid off. Why do I have to go Sham? Situations are going to arise, my fellow Muslims. And at that time, people will move in mass movements around the world. And at that time, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam gave us advice. He said, go to Sham, where Ibrahim alayhi salam went, and that is where you will find the best place. And it is there that you will find the best of people. Are they the people there right now? Maybe or maybe not. But when the hadith, as I said last week, let us not all feel obliged, scholars and non-scholars, to give an explanation to a hadith if that explanation isn't possible at this time. There are many hadith that Rasulullah ﷺ said, it didn't even make sense to the Sahaba. It didn't even make sense to the Sahaba. Did they sit there saying, well, it could mean this or that? No. بَلِّغُوا عَنِّي وَلَوْ آيَةً. Keep conveying it. Because it's going to reach someone that's going to make sense to them. So tonight we find out that if we are to be alive at this time, when the great trial will emerge, when people will be running, people will be leaving, a mass exodus will be happening in our world. If you remember tonight, remember, go to Sham, the people of Bayt al-Maqdis. And again, for those who have not been following the series, Sham is not Syria, today's Syria. Sham is a greater region which encompasses Jordan, Lebanon, and Palestine, and yes, Quds and Jerusalem. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to be the people of haqq. Ameen. May Allah allow us to be true to Allah and His Rasul as Rasulullah tried to teach His Sahaba to be true to Allah and His Rasul. Ameen. May Allah allow us to see the help of Allah on each step of our life. May Allah allow us to see His help in our homes, in our worries, in our pains, in our happiness, in our accomplishments, in our failure. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to feel His presence at all times. Ameen ya Rabbil Alameen. Jazakumullah khairan. Assalamu alaikum.